All right, folks, we don't know the name of the Zerg player. We'll get to that in a moment. But we swapped series, so it is a brand new set. It's best of 3, spawning here to the bottom left. We do know this guy, though. It's the Green Terran, Cure. And he's rocking that green really appropriately.
In the top right, ooh. It is the purple Zerg. I'm just going to pronounce his Korean name, I guess, because we don't actually know who it is, but it's BlackMamba.
Okay, before you correct me on how to spell this, on the way you said it, I'm going to write the name on the screen. And I want to see how far off I am. So could you say that one more time?
BlackMamba?
Okay. I'm going to say... Even if this isn't how you say it, I think this name I just gave him is actually wicked cool, and he should totally go by this.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so I guess in a couple minutes you can see the stream because of the delay, I guess. Anyways, early pull, lots of gases. This is gonna be Ravager Rush.
Why don't you just type? Why didn't you actually enter?
What do you mean? Oh, you want me to type it in game? I was putting on the overlay.
Oh, I thought you were typing in game. Okay.
Here, I'll type
okay,
in
I guess
game.
I'll wait for the delay.
I'll type in game.
BlackMamba. Pretty close.
I think it's a real cool name. I'm gonna be honest. Like if I was a pro gamer, that's my game tag. Forget this wildfire shit. Bootleg Mamba. Anyways.
That was supposed to be a secret.
Anyways, the Ravager Rush coming a very, I don't know, almost old school cheese at this point to pull off versus Terran, but 2 good ways to deal with it. One is to scout, and the other is to build a bunker. And Cure is scouting, maybe not with the Reaper, but quickly with an SCV.
Okay, that is very important indeed.
The scout's a little bit interesting because he sees that it's no hatchery, and that's enough for him to pull back. Going up and confirming the gases, seeing the Roach Warren. I mean, he might just be so smart that he knows what this is. Because Zerg has fairly limited cheese. Gone are the days you do like an early baneling bust or anything like that.
Cure is reacting about as appropriately as you really can. I mean, you can technically still survive, like going to the command center and buying time, but that's when you do start losing. His name is apparently BlackMamba, which I was like, it's awfully close to, which is a snake. So BlackMamba is funnier, but
it's like a rip-off snake. It's the BlackMamba.
In Hangul, you say it faster and faster. It's like one of those games where you say things faster and faster, and you realize what you're actually saying. So it's like BlackMamba, 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 Black. Like,
how do you spell that?
BlackMamba.
Oh, is it just literally BlackMamba?
Yeah, it's a snake.
Oh, okay.
Type.
Cool.
So it's like it's not very black. I don't know why it's called black, but it's kinda.
Alright, so this is kind of accepted losses. You could spend some time with the SCVs repairing the depots, keeping them alive, or you could just start new ones up right away, and that's exactly what he's done. Keep in mind, he canceled his command center, so he'd have the money to defend against this, and the Ravagers can't go much further. All they can really do is keep these SCVs off, mining, repairing, and unfortunately, this is where a lot of these cheeses end, and I don't see a lot of possibility for this to go further for BlackMamba.
Well, the weird thing is, because Cure didn't try to defend a command center, BlackMamba is really, it's totally an open game. He absolutely could take a much later hatchery, which he has, it's done now, and still be in, I think, a macroable position. And he knows there wasn't a main command center taken. Oh, no, he isn't really.
Bunker almost going down, but it does get one of the Ravagers. So no real chance to keep pushing into this. The defense was cracked about as hard as Zombie Grub's knuckles just now.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Oh, no! One more shot would have done it, too.
Poor Elf. So I was saying that, like, maybe he doesn't know there's a main command center not taken, but seeing a cyclone that fast might have told him. He didn't quite see the starport. Unless he got it back up there. No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't quite see the starport. So, this Banshee is actually a problem. BlackMamba needs spore crawlers.
I don't want to call him BlackMamba. I want to go with Bootleg Mamba.
When you say it fast, it kind of just sounds like BlackMamba.
I'm just thinking Tracy Morgan, right, with all of his series.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, this honky grandma be tripping.
Like Big Mama's house, or whatever that one. I don't remember the actor's name.
I think you mean Tyler Perry's Big Mama's house.
No, that wasn't Tyler Perry.
I don't know,
Excuse
but they always had Tyler Perry's name before a lot of those movies. That's all I knew.
No, his character has a name. Big Mama's house was like the detective. The cop has to disguise himself as a large black woman. I can't remember the actor's name right now. Anywho.
Banshee racking up quite a few kills. 5 drones, forces a build cancel 2. Still no real easy way to deal with this. Spore crawlers are the only form of detection at the moment, so as long as he stays away from those, yeah, that Banshee's not going to die anytime soon. Energy might run out though, so hopefully Kier's thinking about pulling this back. Using this again later will definitely be beneficial.
That was a very suspicious creature to use. Third base is still open, and in fact, the Queen's having to go across non-creep, and there's no drones over there now. Ooh. The Hatchie's gonna take an awful lot of damage, but Kier isn't sticking around. Oh, I wonder why. Definitely could have gotten that like 60% health or something.
Yeah, to finish it off with a drop later type thing. But while this goes on, Kier's a little bit late to his natural, of course, due to the nature of the Ravager Rush, and he's trying to make up for it by taking a pretty quick third base in his main. So he does have 3 CCs. This is kind of nice. Finding a bit of a sweet spot back here. Gets one of the Queens and a couple drones.
Okay. Yeah, the reason he stuck around at the third base might have been because he knew it wouldn't kill it, so he's like really looking for lings popping out, which he just saw, or Queens that were trying to go across the creep.
Okay, so tank on the high ground, we'll cover tank on the low ground, but to predict friendly fire is going to be a real son of a gun here. Marines helping keep that from getting too out of hand, at least initially. As we see, tank takes quite a bit of damage, but BlackMamba falls short on damage, and this doesn't do much. Those Zerglings weren't even worth it.
No, they were not. It is really tempting to go for that tank there. Tank's really slow to build, would take away at least one tank from a main push, which can be a big difference. Not going to grab it. Is going up to Spire on a decent number of drones, but this game really is like no one really, I felt, got a lead in the early game. It was 1 base to 2, and now 2 base to 3, and now 3 base to 3. Like, it's kind of hard to determine who's going to be ahead, but with BlackMamba going for a Spire, these mutas could do nothing. And without upgrades, without centrifugal hooks, that's when you worry about the push from Kier, who actually does have upgrades. Looks like a normal TVZ.
Yeah, he's coming across the map with those medevacs. Also, chat's got her back. Martin Lawrence. Okay, thank you guys. Man, Martin Lawrence, what actually, I remember he was like, what, in Crash and a couple other big things, and this kind of fell off. Yeah,
that's a big reason why I couldn't remember his name. It's like the last thing I remember him doing was Mama's House, so not a highlight movie.
All right, well, Banshees are being dealt with, unfortunately. Those are going to go down. But, yo, here comes the Marines to get that third base that they couldn't get earlier, and defense is just not an option. Mutas are going to pop here, too. That's even worse if the Marines actually stay. They'll pick off the Mutas right away, but he picks up. Get away. Ah, it would have been nice to pick off the Mutas. There we go.
Yeah, just get the high ground in case there's a lot of lings, and there's enough lings to help that this might be something he cleans up, but it's not as good as a trade as BlackMamba was hoping for. Imagine if the upgrades are done. That would have been absolutely terrible. But we'll have to split his medevacs to try and get at least 1 home, and that is cleaned up. But yeah, it was only 2 medevacs with the units. Like, Kier is on some pretty nice production. Obviously, scouting the Marines or the Mutas is also important. So he has missile turrets on the way.
Oh my god, is he not going to get either medevac at this rate? I also remind you guys, this isn't some super rando career. Like, he actually beat Armani in his EVZ, which for me, I was flagging as like, that's really impressive because Armani's EVZ's been good, even if he's out of practice for the military. But mistakes like this, letting both the medevacs get out alive, I mean, the cheesy opening, feeling desperate. Maybe this matchup's just not his jam. I don't know, but this is not going well for BlackMamba. If
he was just cheesing out Armani, then, and he's GM, so he's obviously good on the Korean ladder. It could still mean that he's a cheesy little Zerg.
Not even GM on the Korean ladder.
I know, right? And that Kier anticipated that. That's why he bothered SCV scouting. That's why he was so prepared. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case. I mean, we don't know much about the Korean ladder other than like the pros we know in their position on the ladder. But, an NA ladder, there's always those middling GMs that are known for their weird styles or cheese. Armani wouldn't know, I guess, being in the military, but Kier might. Kier would be like, I know this guy.
Well, this is looking pretty over. Upgrades are already a pretty big determining factor, but the fact that this was Spire tech that frankly didn't get anything worth of value from it, No harassment on the backside, no picking off medevacs. Like, this is just so much money wasted, and upgrades are finally coming for BlackMamba, but way too late. And not even stimming, he just walks out of the Corrosive Biles. That's how non-pressured Cure is. And that Banshee from earlier, that no-health Banshee, she's up to like 12 kills now, pick up another 6 drones, 7 on the way out. Not bad.
The scan reveals only a minor amount of creep tumors, a minor amount of banelings, the rest are being at the 3rd base. Cure does have to be a little careful about running on a creep, but he is like really close to being able to stim and win.
Yeah. He's already, I think he's got it.
Banelings go one way, Ravagers go in a bunch of tank fire.
GG. Cure will take the first game in this TVZ series. By the way, refreshing the bracket to see, like, did Cloudy Innovation finally ever start? And it looks like they've just started. So.
Damn.
We didn't miss too much. It was the winner of this. We're going to fight against Gilzing, who got a walkover over Hero. So I'm really sad that Hero, I guess, no-showed today. Not going to compete.
Oh.
That's a bit of a bummer. Love me some Hero.
Oh well. So this BlackMamba guy, we still don't know anything about him. He might just be, you know, GM that appears every so often. We haven't cast him yet because we didn't know who he was.
Well, these types of tournaments, the Olimoleague is designed for people like him, though, to be honest. Like, it's cool that we get to see, like, innovation, some of the big names, but realistically, the Olimoleague was made for those who don't get to compete in the GSL all the time. It's a weekly tournament that anybody can compete in, so yeah, GMs known or not known, or unknown, excuse me, it's the perfect place for them, win or lose.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna expand upon it, but then I had to read Korean.
All right, well, while we're getting the lobby set up, guys, big thank you to Mr. Vagi for that 2-month resub we missed earlier. Dark Templar also came back for 2 months, and then about 10 minutes ago, we missed Koskilla hitting us up with a 17-month resub. Thank you all for coming back to the channel. Continuing that month-to-month support. It's nice.
Yep. I was gonna continue saying that BlackMamba, you know, whatever we don't know much about him, he does speak some English.
Yeah, he said, "I
knew
knew
a curse
fuck."
word or two. Yeah, and that he's trying to he's trying to friend me. He asked if I was a BJ.
Oh,
it's a broadcast jockey. And
yeah, well,
like,
you do a lot. You do a lot of BJing.
Broadcast jockeying, I'm not sure is a verb.
I don't know. I don't know how good your BJing is. But, all right, we'll see you guys on Ascension to Ire. All right, folks, welcome back to game number 2. Spawning here to the top left. I'll fix the names on the overlay in a second because it's going to look wrong for now. It is the Green Terran Cure, up 1-0.
In the bottom right, as the purple Zerg, he is BlackMamba.
So I don't think the phrase broadcast jockey is actually all that strange. I guess it's kind of akin to like what we would call casting and all these other things. Like, it's just a different terminology, but it's just really unfortunate when you pick abbreviations like that for no matter what you're doing.
It's weird because it is what broadcasters used to be called. I mean, you used to be hired as a broadcast jockey. I don't know when, like maybe in the 70s or something, they were using that. But at some point, obviously people... It's like, you know, being like the name being called Dick. Like at some point, people just agreed to stop nicknaming Richard's Dick. But like
that's
Korea
another thing too.
somehow,
How did that ever become a thing in the first place? Like, regardless of Dick being the silly word that it is for a penis, how does Richard condense to Dick? Robert to Bob, I can connect those dots, right? But Richard to Dick never made sense.
It really is like Robert to Bob, though. Rob is the obvious shorthand, but Bob, why Bob from Robert? So I kind of get the same impression from Richard to Dick. But anyways, I just wonder how Korea, right? It wasn't even really a first world country until the 70s, or actually the 80s. Got a hold of the term broadcast jockey, BJs, and that's what they chose in 2000 when Africa got popular. I don't know, but it happened that way.
I just gotta imagine the sheer awkwardness that is like you're a Korean player, or excuse me, a Korean broadcaster who's never in their life heard the English abbreviation BJ to blowjob. You go to America for your first big deal, you're meeting with a sponsor, and you're just so proud about your BJ. Just like, can't wait to tell people about how good.
Okay, but no one would ever say that, right? You don't go to an interview and you're like...
English as their first language would say that, but people as their second language?
But even in Korean, you wouldn't be like, I'm good at BJing. You'd say, I'm a great BJ.
Still, same difference to me, man.
It's a little different.
I think there are some spots that get filled in my brain no matter what and how we're phrasing it. But regardless of that, all right, so we don't have cheese coming out of BlackMamba this time. We're gauging and judging a lot of that first game based on the fact that he did go for a Ravager attack. It's usually an all-in that failed. Now, granted, it wasn't an all-in version. It was more like an attack that led into an expansion, but either way, it's so expensive to set that up. To even just take 2 gases that early for Zerg players, it sacrifices your third, it's less drones. There's just a lot of reasons why that game wasn't going to go well for him, and a lot of it was because Cure prepared and didn't suffer. So this time he plays a little bit more standard. You have faster third, good drone count, no ridiculous Rotoran timing, although he's getting one now to be safe. And maybe we'll see a better game out of BlackMamba. But even then, like, the balance of the game right now really is a rock, paper, scissors situation. Terran beats Zerg, Zerg beats Protoss, Protoss beats Terran. And no matter how good you play, you've got that to overcome.
Wait, say that again? What was the order?
Zerg beats Protoss, Protoss beats Terran, Terran beats Zerg.
Oh, is that really the case though?
I guess the Protoss Zerg one's a little bit 50-50, but I think generally speaking, that's kind of about how it goes. I
wasn't switched with the PVZ because I think Protoss is losing that matchup, but I was more switched with TVZ. I guess the current balance as of January is quite nice for TVZ, but certainly in the last month and a half of tournaments, it feels like Zerg's been stomping over the Korean Terrans, unless they're particularly good, like Bunny.
Well, unless they're particularly mech, I'd say, because like
yeah.
mech just, I don't recall the last time I really watched a hardcore mech loss versus Zerg. Not recently, at least.
It's true. Well, we recently had a live showcase how Bio can still be good. That's surprising.
Well, Cure also trying to showcase that as he is going Bio once again. Stim starts up. Hellion's going to be patrolling around the map, maybe trying to be a little annoying. The Viking clearing the way for the Liberator, so hopefully Cure thinks that BlackMamba won't see this coming. But even then, like, this Liberator is not about being sneaky, it's about getting there and doing as much damage as possible.
It's got to be a little sneakier than that, though. The Queen would have been right there.
Hello, please disregard me and shoot my Hellion friend. Oh, this is even worse. If he had actually flown over that first Queen, it would have got better, in all honesty.
It's like, you don't have to be that sneaky, but you do have to, like, wait until the guards left.
You know what it is? It's the Kung Fu Panda thing, right? Like, you're trying to be sneaky as a panda. You can't be that ninja. You're just too big for it, man. This attack over here ends up doing pretty well. Picks off several drones, almost. Not quite. Bantlings go off with that first set of Hellbats. And he gets a couple more drones for his trouble. This is actually not the greatest attack out of Cure. This could have possibly knocked down a hatchery if he focused it. But he's still trading out decently with the units, so it's not exactly cheap for BlackMamba to clean this up. Lost about 8 workers in the process.
I would say it's a pretty okay Hellbat attack. It sucks that the 2 Cyclones were included. I mean, they did do a lot of damage to the hatchery, but they're a little more expensive, and you're not really gonna... Yeah, they're just more expensive. I always wonder why they're that useful for that attack, but 8 drones not that bad. The amount of panic that BlackMamba had, the idea the Liberator should have done more damage to the distraction hit. Could have been better, could have been worse. The Cure was macroing quite well behind it, and he is going Bio once again.
Yeah, re-emphasizing Stim as it finishes up here in about 10 seconds. I think that Cure's actually really good at the game in terms of multitasking, so that aspect of Bio should be no problem for him. The question is really on BlackMamba, like, how does he handle this? First medevacs heading out aren't full, but still a lot of Marines inside of them. Drop Overlord also set up over here. This might catch Cure a little off guard, but I can't imagine much.
Yeah, I guess not. Ooh, this is not a great drop. Cure definitely losing out on momentum in this mid game. There's more than even full 2 medevacs anyway. It's already going to be a little lame. And so far behind on the upgrades, BlackMamba certainly has a shot. I hope he goes into Hydras, and as I say that, he absolutely does. The Mutas felt like because it was a wonky game, he thought that they would be a little bit better, but if you're in this position, just go into the Hydras.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that last game specifically, I'd be like, what else do you even go into as Zerg? Because it's that Hydra game right now. It's so good as the core, no matter what you're fighting against. But anyways, I'm still keeping an eye on these Zerglings. We don't see BlackMamba actually using these yet. Perfect opportunity is going to be opening yourself, though, once he realizes, hey, all your army's on my side of the field. But he's actually pulling back with the Zerglings? No, maybe it's just a bit of an F2. Well, this is going to be a bit rough. Tank set up in a pretty nice spot. There's not that many Banelings. It's mostly just Zerglings.
Okay, that is a big problem. I think that BlackMamba does have a decent position. In fact, this might still be enough, even with just Ling. Oh, no.
Nah. He did have one finish up, and of course he focus fired with a few Banelings there were. Only that last Baneling wasn't focused, but Hatchery goes down with relative ease. That was, by the way, the majority of BlackMamba's army. So as he falls back off this, his drone count's not so bad, but his army count is 30. And keep in mind, like, what, a third of that is Queens?
Yeah, seriously, like, one or two of those Banelings hit, and that is such an easier cleanup. There's only 5, so absolutely cure focus fire within the realm of his skill, absolutely, but that could have, should have been a little bit easier. BlackMamba was in a pretty decent position. Now he'll have his upgrade lead to 2-2 again, and he does have 2 other bases to send his drones to, but he really was just missing out on the Banelings. Now he's got a few more.
Oh man. Even with Banelings and even with Hydras, I still can't take my eyes off that army count. Like, this is just too big of a difference, I think. Unless Cure move commands and doesn't trade out at least 1 for 1. I don't know, man. There's like no way these Banelings can get the damage they need to. Especially with tank fire like this.
He really needs an overwhelming amount. And it also would have been, I think, if he had cleaned up the first attack, it would have been creep spread where Cure is right now. But he's on the edge, and he's really just hoping that BlackMamba tries to take a fight, which he does. But not even with all the Banelings together, so these come in really awkwardly and get blown away by the tanks.
Yeah, I think that's a GG.
Hey,
although upgrades are good, it's just there's no units to benefit from them. There we go. Taps out. Cure takes the series 2-0. Somebody touching my spaghetti. So his opponent's already set up, by the way. Stats also waits for was possibly alive, Gyolzing versus Cure, Creator versus Innovation or Cloudy, and Rogue waits for Keen or Deer. I think that, without a doubt in my mind, we gotta go with a top match, right? Like Rogue versus the winner?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Creator Innovation.
Well, if you want to wait for another one, I'm open to ideas. I'm just saying Rogue seems like the most appealing one right off the bat for me. But
Sharon before they die.
Hmm?
So I want as much Sharon as possible before they die.
All right, well, we're gonna I guess figure things out here during the break, guys. So again, the brackets are stacked for the round of 8. We got a lot of good players. Make sure to check it out. We'll be back in a couple minutes while we play these ads, and see you soon.